Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shirat David, Baruch Hashem. Mamash, a beautiful, beautiful day here in Eretz Yisrael. Every day is a present from Hashem. Okay, and we're learning Likutey Halachos. We're in Hilchos Petzias Apas, breaking bread. We're in Halachic Gimel, and today we're up to letter Gimel, so it's 3-3. Yesterday we were learning this amazing idea that you can constantly take your bread and turn your bread into matzah, right? You take your bread and turn it into matzah by breaking the ches with the kana, with the reed. You break the ches and you turn it into a hay. So then you take the ches mem tzadik and you switch it around, you make it mem tzadik hey, and then you have matzah.
Which corner are we talking about?
Huh?
Corner. You said with the corner.
Well, we quoted it yesterday.
That top part of chet?
Yeah. That's the corner that we're talking about.
Practically, we can say something.
Kana ches to shaber.
Yeah.
That's what we learned yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? V'tasa mimena hey. Take the ches.
The pole of the chet needs to be...
break the pole of the ches and you make it into a hay.
Practically, what could it... How's it practically?
That's what we said, we break the bread.
All right.
You break the bread, that's breaking the ches.
Mm-hmm.
Revealing...
The red starts out that it's like, it could be, you put in the flour in the water, it could be matzah.
Right.
But then,
It turns into chametz.
And then it rises.
So you turn the chametz back into, you're turning, not lemaisa, you're turning it okay. Right? Okay, so that's a nice idea. And then we said every time you want to take the food out of the itzvan teichlenu, right? The curse of the Adama, right? Or Adama, right? Hashem said the ground was cursed. That's one of the reasons why we make the bracha Hamaitzi lechem in haaretz. We don't say Hadama, right? That's one thing. And also we said that when we make the bracha, we're connecting the upper world to this world, and then we're taking the bread out of the gather of curse and we're turning it into bracha by making the bracha. Okay, now we're going to continue today. Lechem oini. So we know that the matzah is called lechem oini, right? So it says lechem she'oinim harbe, right? They speak a lot. You speak over the matzah, right? Tell over tzipa yasias mitzrayim, right? You tell over the story, right? But it literally means lechem oini means poor man's bread, right? Poor man's bread. It's hard to understand it because the cost of matzah is kind of high,
Yeah.
Right? So it's,
It makes people poor, that's right.
it makes people. Oh, there we go. Ma darka shel ani beprusa. So the Gemara says, just again, we have the prusa, the pieces, right? Ani doesn't get a whole loaf. Ani gets whatever he gets. He gets a scrap or something, right? How do you want to translate a prusa? Piece?
Slice.
A slice, a piece.
Lifros is...
The slice. Yeah, the slice. Okay. What? A shtickle broid. There we go. Ki ikka ha'aniyas nimshach bebechinas be'itzvan teichlena. Because the main point of poverty comes from the curse. You will eat your bread of depression. Which is the idea of chametz. So now the question is now here. Then he says like this: therefore, the ani is compared to a dead person. An ani is chashav kameis, but that's only an ani of das, right? We said when a person has das, when a person has knowledge. Right? An ani, we said, is not an ani because he doesn't have money. He's an ani b'das. Because money can always change. A person can always change and get his money. But if the person doesn't have das, he doesn't know how to change anything. So then he's taka poor.
Yeah.
What?
Shlomo knows, that kanitem ma chasarta.
Yeah, that's right. Bebechinas b'yoyim achalecha mimenu, on the day that you're going to eat from it, and that'll be the day that you'll surely die. Right? That was again from the Eitz Das Tevera. And someone that is kind to the ani and gives him from his bread, right? Azayhu males ani bebechinas anias bebechinas itzvan techlenu sheba bebechinas chametz. You lift him up, right? But again, this is talking about you give him actual bread, but you can also give the guy a little encouragement. That's also considered bread, right? Give the guy encouragement. Encourage the person.
Or a job.
What?
Or a job.
Teach the person or teach the person a trade.
A trade.
Right? Teach the person a trade, right? Balkei nikra atzedaka b'shein prusa, k'meisha kosav, haloi parois leroev lachmecha, right? Look at the words, see that? Haloi parois leroev lachmecha. You give the impoverished one, the one that's very hungry, re'eva, like from hungry, right? Give him from your bread. Kihu mala oisei, because that'll lift him up. Mi bechinas chametz le bechinas matzah, shedeh bechinas prusa or shvura. And that's why we have the matzah is a prusa and a shvura, a broken one. Again, we're going to come back to the thing why we break the matzah, right? Remember we spoke about that yesterday. When it comes to matzah itself, so when it comes to bread, you need a whole bread, and then you break the bread. Right? Because you want to take the whole ches, you want to break it to turn it into the hay, right? When it comes to matzah is actual matzah, right? It never turned into bread. Right. So there you can use a piece, you don't need a whole one. Mm-hmm. Although we actually use them for a lechem mishnah, you will use whole ones, but there's an idea that you don't need a whole one, like we do by the seder, and that's why when we wash. And we break when we eat the matzah, we use the smaller matzah, the one that we cut, the one that was broken. Okay, now he says here, bechinas shviras kenei haches, to break again the ches. So again, but when it comes to matzah, you don't really have to do that. But you're breaking the guy's chametz, his mind. See, look at this. The guy, someone that's impoverished, right? Someone that's very poor. So that person that's very poor, he sometimes has tightness on Hashem, right? He's upset. Hey, look, this guy has a lot of money, and I don't have any money, right? The guy complains. But when you give the yani something, and you teach the yani, and you help the yani, so then you take him out of the idea of chametz, right? Where he has the wrong ideas, his mind is filled with all the junk, right? And you put in the mind that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very kind, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the mitzvah to people to give to the ani money, to give to the ani food. It's amazing, right? That there's a mitzvah for that, right? So when the ani realizes how really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really taking care of him, it's not the way maybe he really wanted it to be, right? He maybe wants to be the one that's giving. But he realizes, wait, Hashem is still kind, and Hashem is still giving me people to give me something. So he realizes again that comes from Hashem. See, that's the thing. The money is coming from Hashem because through the mitzvah. There's the whole point when we eat our bread, we keep learning this, right? To realize that the bread came to you directly from Hashem. Even though it's, you baked it, and even though you went to buy it, and even though this, that, and the other thing, right? But you realize that all of that came about because Hashem wanted you to have this bread. So the ani realizes that also. And that's how you lift the ani out of the idea of chametz, his mind, into the matzah. Okay? All right, that's an idea. Okay, now. Balkei nikras matzah, hamatzah, lechem aini. That's why the matzah is called lechem aini. Ki ikar tikun ha'aniyas v'chiyusai hu al yedei bechinas matzah. Oh, you could fix him through the idea of matzah. You could fix the ani through matzah. Ha'yedei shemalin oisei b'mechinas chametz l'matzah. You take him out of the chametzdik ideas. Right? We said we don't want to have the chimatz hamayach, right? Remember we learned that, right? We don't want to have the chametz in the mind. We want to get rid of the chametz mind, right? All the complaints to Hashem and all the things we want to straighten all of that out. We want to realize it's all how kind Hashem is, and show gratitude to Hashem, right? That's what we're trying to do, right? So when we do that, we're fixing the chametz and turning it into matzah. Ki tzedakah hu gam kein bechinas Hashem, because tzedakah is Hashem, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the mitzvah of tzedakah. Ki zeh ikar tikun tzedakah shemamshichin Hashem be'oisem mitzedek. Tzedakah, you take from tzedek, you make it into tzedakah. Righteous, you make it into tzedakah. Hashem is tzedek, right? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu does tzedakah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us all tzedakah. Whoever has any money, it's all tzedakah from Hashem. Think about it. Mm-hmm. Whatever money we have, it's only a present from Hashem. So it's all tzedakah, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is tzedek.
So the poor person who doesn't have a lot of money, he should be happy too, of course, even though he's poor. Well, I mean, even though he has less money. Because it's all charity from Hashem.
It's all charity from Hashem. But the poor person is always upset. You know, hey, look, I'd rather have the other situation. But when he realizes that this tzedakah, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still taking care of him, and he still has his food. I mean, it's Hashem, right? The ani has his food. You give him from your food. Right? You give him money. We give the ani money, then he has, so then he can be grateful as well.
And then he has to do tzedakah with that money, yes?
Kayadua, whatever. Kayadua, hainu, bechinas hey, the matzah, and that's the hay of the matzah, right? Because you broke the ches, and you get again the hay from the matzah. V'zeo ma darkei shel ani beprusa, kach matzah hi beprusa. Or the same way the ani eats a piece, also the matzah. That's why you have all these broken matzahs all the time, right? Beprusa, it's beprusa,
pre-broken.
Right. Ki zeh ikar bechinas matzah. That's the main thing of matzah. V'zeh ikar chiyas ha'ani. That's how you can give life to the ani. The chiyas of the ani. Ki hu bechinas hey. Canal the bechinas oilim sha'olu lechem peireis ein lohem peireis daika. Right. Because he breaks the machshavas rois, he breaks all of that stuff, so then he doesn't have the problems anymore. He had originally those bad thoughts, that he had all those complaints, but he breaks it. V'zeh bechinas v'la yif resu lahem al evel lenachamoi, right? Ki ha'ovel shenoga boy sitra de maisa chas v'sholem al kin ein loy koyach oz lifrois l'tzaya ala pas. The ani doesn't have the opportunity when he's all poor and he's down and he's out, right? He doesn't have the opportunity to be able to break the bread, to change the chametz into the matzah. He doesn't have the opportunity to do that. He's not holding there. Ki eina yochel oz lachnia sitra de maisa shehu bechinas chametz lifrois es hapas la'loisei michametz lematzah meches lehei. He can't do that because he's upset. Right? You understand? When he's upset, ki oz ein loy zeh koyach. He doesn't have the koyach. Al kein also loy leechel suda rishoina mishaloi v'al kein tzrichin. We're talking about also when it comes to the ovel, right? The ovel doesn't eat the suda from himself. Right? When an ovel comes back from the kvura, right? So you always bring the ovel someone brings him something. He doesn't eat his own food. Right? Remember that, right?
Tell me what it means to take, I guess, the bread from chametz to matzah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about on Pesach or anytime?
Anytime.
So
on Pesach you can't take the bread and turn it into matzah. That won't work.
No, it's already matzah.
Right, but you don't have bread. So it's just any time. Right. This is the rest of the year.
So why do we want to take the chametz during the year, which I guess is, what is chametz during the year? The bread? Is it bread?
Yeah.
And you make it matzah by?
By breaking it.
By breaking it.
Yeah. You make it into an aspect of matzah. It's not actual matzah,
Right.
right? It's a bechina of matzah. That's what we said yesterday. We made a disclaimer. You can't do this on Pesach. Right? You can have the greatest kavanas in the world, right?
Yeah.
Right? Even let's say the Arizal wasn't able to do that, right? He wasn't able to take bread on Pesach and turn it into matzah. He can't do that.
And why do we have to do that?
Well, it's
during
very
the
simple.
year?
You know why? Because you can't own it. You can't own it to turn it into matzah. That's the problem. You're not allowed to own the bread at any time on Pesach.
Right.
So you couldn't even turn it into matzah even if you wanted to.
So why do I want to take it from chametz to matzah during the year?
Oh, because we want to take it from the idea that it's all I did this and I made everything and it's all mine. All those crazy ideas that people have. And I want to straighten out my ideas to recognize it's all Hashem. So again, so I can get to the Oros HaRatzah, that I can connect back to Hashem. Right? We said when we're eating, we can connect back to Hashem. This is how you do it.
And when do we do this? When we wash
When
our
you
hands
break,
and-
when you break the bread,
So after we wash our hands and...
then you break the bread.
So is that part of what you talked about? We're taking it and making it...
After you make the
We're not
blessing,
eating the,
after you make the bracha,
yeah.
so then you break the bread.
Right.
Right.
And that's when we're...
That's the idea of breaking the ches, of the chametz.
Right. But it's also, you said, instead of eating carcasses, we're going to eat...
No,
good
you're
stuff.
mixing. No, now you're
I'm mixing
mixing
two
things
things?
up.
Okay.
That's the carcass is when you don't have Torah at the table.
Okay.
Now you're mixing up two different things.
Okay, Torah at the table. Okay. So
Torah at the
why-
table, then you're not eating from zivchei mesim. Otherwise, you're eating
Okay.
from zivchei mesim.
So when we eat bread and go through the whole process, we want to be eating matzah, and we want to learn Torah, which makes our meal...
Yes, you want to recognize. We're learning
And
here
so
how to
Hashem.
recognize that this bread that I got is really coming from Hashem. When I believe that it's my bread, I made the bread, I'm eating chametz. When I realize that the bread came from Hashem, then I'm eating matzah. Even though I'm eating bread, but I'm eating matzah. I mean, it's like the mun.
That's what I just asked. That's like
Like the
matzah's
manna.
man.
The manna,
You can
right.
have- and that's when you can have it taste like anything you want.
We said yesterday, the Gemara said when we went out of Mitzrayim, they had the ugais, that was man. Right? And it had the taste of anything you wanted. Okay. Okay, here.
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem. Lahav rosai, right? Mishal acherim. Ki oz ubechinas ani she efshel loy la'alis mechames lamatzah ki im al yedei acherim sheparsam loy milachmam ba'yedei zeh malan oisei mechames lamatzah. Right? So notice he can't do it at that time. He's probably, the guy finished, he came from the burial, his mind is all upside down, right? So he doesn't have the ability to break the bread. So that's why someone else breaks the bread. They turn it from the chametz into the matzah and they give it to him.
So he doesn't have to wash then? at that
No,
point?
he washes. He
doesn't
still
have
washes.
to
He
wash,
still washes. But he doesn't break the bread. It's not his bread. Someone else's, okay? V'zeh bechinas lechem oini shedosha b'seinu zal olav shalom ma darkei shalani v'prusa, right? The same way that the ani eats a piece, so he also eats the prusa. Davar achal lechem she'oinin olav devarim habe, like we said before, right? Another pshat of why it's called matzah is called lechem oini. She'oinim olav devarim habe, right? You speak a lot about over the matzah. Sipi Yitzias Mitzrayim. Hainu hach, ki daik, he specifically, al yedei bechinas matzah, al yedei ze mishabrim kinei ches v'oisim imene hay, via breaking the ches and turning it into hay, bechinas ge'er chayes kana, right, that we said yesterday, right, the pasuk, right, we quoted, the hainu, al yedei kedushas hamachshava, through purifying of the thoughts. Again, purifying one's thoughts, sanctifying one's thoughts. Right? By recognizing where the bread came from, and recognizing that this is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then he can use, again, what's the point that we eat? We eat in order to have power, to have energy, in order to pray to Hashem. So then the guy will be able to be lahaitzi hakol b'kaya gadol b'tfilasai. He'll be able to bring this in, extend this into his tefillah now. He has the kaya from his eating, and he'll be able to pray. That's why they say it's bread that you'll be able to speak a lot about it. You'll be able to pray. Because again, when you recognize that it all came from Hashem, and you feel that gratitude to Hashem, so then you feel compelled that you want to be able to pray to Hashem. Ki al yedei lechem zeh bechinas matzah al yedei zeh shoidim b'kol gadol ki al yedei zeh yecholim l'spalo b'kol gadol d'hayne tefillah b'koyach kimavayim b'mayim ha'anal. Okay, so therefore it's all. Now he's going to talk about in Dala. We're going to talk about tikkun tefillah. Okay, now let's talk about tefillah now. V'zeh gam came b'bechinas tikkun achila. This is the idea of fixing our making a tikkun for our eating, right? Tikkun achila is a big idea, right? In other words, when I eat, I'm eating for the sake to serve Hashem, right? Not for the sake of the enjoyment of the food itself. Not on Shabbos. That's only during the week, not Shabbos. My opportunities that I have each time that I'm eating the chametz, I'm eating my bread, I can turn my bread into matzah. In order for me to be able to daven properly, again, we said when we do that, then we feel the gratitude that the bread came to us from Hashem, and Hashem was so kind to us that it caused us to want to be able to daven to Hashem. Okay, you know, they say if you eat a nice balanced meal, you have power, you have koyach, right? It comes from the idea from the gevuras geshamim, the rains, right? All comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're talking about also from the what do you call it? We started off with talking about in Torah Hey. We're talking about the what do you call it? We started yesterday and we spoke about when you have the thunders, right? Right? When you have the thunder is there for what? To straighten out the akmumiyas shabalei, right? Straighten out the crookedness in the heart. It comes from the gevura of the geshamim, right? The ramim, bechinas ramim, the thunder, k'mayim al ki geshamim. Heim al yedei ra'amim, the geshamim comes together with the thunder, right? Usually when it thunders, it rains, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, right? Most of the time, thunder is associated with rain. Umisham nimshach parnasa v'achila, that comes the parnasa and achila. Again, here's the system. You get the thunder, then comes the rain. Straighten out the crookedness of the heart, recognize the chesed of Hashem, that He makes it rain. And because He makes it rain, the fruit, the wheat grows, all the fruits and the vegetables grow, everything grows because you have rain, right? Right? So then while you're doing that, you recognize it from this to straighten out the heart, the crookedness of the heart, and to have the right desires, and together with the mind. Again, when you break the bread, and you saw there was the darker part of the bread that you broke it. And you have the Yiras Hashem. It's all a package. It all works together, right? You see that? Okay. V'chein ikar tikkun hadas hu kefi achila, and also the way you eat b'kedusha, right? Again, when you eat, you make the bracha correctly, and then you recognize, wow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me this food, and we think about it not just to eat. You know, you see people eating; they're walking and eating, and they, like Chazal tell us, you shouldn't walk in the street eating. Why? Because if you walk in the street eating, you're like a dog. Dogs walk in the street and eat. We don't do that. We're supposed to sit at a table, the shulchan, right? We sit at the shulchan, we eat, we make the bracha properly, and we think about what we're doing. So then that's an amazing thing. That's tikkun achila.
Fast food fast food idea is not great.
It's not a shulchan aruch thing, yeah.
I'm like grabbing here thing, Barekas there, coffee.
Listen. If you're working and you have no other choice, but again, you try to do the best that you can.
Yeah.
Make the bracha and think what you're doing.
It's all about covering.
That's right. It's just the thing. That's what Reb Nasser is trying to help us understand, that when we eat our food, let's try to remember Hashem.
Right.
That's basically all this is. When you're eating your food, remember there's Hashem in the world, and He gave you the food. That's the bottom. That's really what it really boils down to. Okay, kishoichel bekedusha, azay hakol hayoytze bekoyach betfilosai nimshach haydei koyach ha'achila. So then, of course, when you're eating bekedusha, so then, of course, we said when you do that, you make the bracha, so the food gets absorbed in the body, right? It gets distributed to all of the organs. Everything is healthy. Everything works well. Remember, we learned that, right? Everything works well. And then, of course, you can then daven. Now he says here, okay. Upageya b'mayach v'azay nasa b'menu ra'amim. Then when you daven b'kol, right? When you daven with a voice, and you say the words with a thundering word in a thundering way, you straighten out things in your mind, because now you hear what you're saying. It touches the mind, and it straightens out the mind. That's the Rebbe always says, when you daven, you're supposed to say the words, listen to what you're saying. Don't just say the words. Listen to the words that you're saying. Let those words affect your mind. I didn't hear this from somebody else. I just said these words. I said, Paiseyach es yadecha umaspila. It wasn't someone else that said, I just said that. Right? I just said Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. Listen to what you're saying. Right? And that's like a Roman. That's like those thunder. Because again, the thunder wakes you up, startles you, straightens out the crookedness of the heart. The words can straighten out the cuckoo's nuts in the brain. B'azaya leiv shemeya, then the heart can hear. Kamavaya v'nal nimsa shakol toli b'achila kedusha misham nimshach hakoyach misham shleimus hadas. Who would have ever thought that, right? So it all comes by eating properly and eating with the right kavanah, making the brachas correctly, recognizing it's all from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like man that helps the person even daven better. Isn't that amazing? It's fascinating. V'gam hayira mimenu taitzas hakol, from the yira comes out the voice. Hu gam kein ayedei achila, the kedusha all comes through eating with holiness. Ki ikar hayira bo la'adam b'shas achila kamuva b'mokem achim b'divrei b'zeinu zal. Rabbi Nachman spoke about in lesson 77. This idea, this beautiful idea that again, through your eating, and this is fascinating, through eating you can really fix your spiritual life. Is that fascinating?
It is, because normally it's like the opposite. You eat and
I understand, but he's telling you, showing you here. He's showing you here that you're going to eat. We have no choice. We have to eat.
Potential, yeah.
No, we have to eat, right? We're human beings. We have to eat. So the Rebbe is showing you here. Look, when you're eating, you can make that into something so beneficial that you can straighten yourself out spiritually via your eating, bringing the upper world into your food. Making the bracha. We said yesterday, when we make the bracha, you're taking Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam. You're taking Hashem, the King of the world. You bring Him into my food.
Did you say it was lesson 77?
Yeah. If you want to learn more about this, it's lesson 77.
Well, that's what the Torah is, completely. When we do the mitzvah, when we say Eitz Chaim, he must, we live the life of the Torah, then everything is easy. It's a blessing and it's easy.
Easy.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Let's do hey, and we'll stop there. Okay, but now v'zeh bechinas mehechin ka shoris hamaitzi umehecha dokim b'shula. Right? Where do you make the hamaitzi? Where do you break the bread? Right, going back to that, right? Right?
On the Mizbeach.
What?
I'm guessing on the Mizbeach.
No. Again, the roll. You have your roll.
Yeah.
So where do you make the metzia from? Where do you break the bread?
In the dark.
right? Ki ayidei ha'afiyah, through baking the bread, ayidei ha'esh, ayidei zeh nizbarer nistakein halechem. That's how the dough becomes into bread, right? Before you have dough, raw dough. Some people may like to eat dough, but it's not really edible. It's probably not good for you, right? Right? But how do you fix the dough and make it edible? You have fire. You must have fire, right? There's no other way to do it, right? Want to bake bread, you need fire, right? Aidei eish, nizbarav nistakein halechem. Ki me'a'ish yotzu va'eish teichlen. Because from the fire it goes out, and from the fire it can be consumed, right? Ayidei alkein, ayidei ha'eish nizbar halechem ezum asanochash. The fire straightens out the situation again from the zoom of the nachash, right? The nachash, right? In other words, you need yira, right? Yira straightens me away from the ideas, the atzas, or the advice of the nachash. The nachash is there in order to tell me that I can create things myself. I can become a god. That's what the nachash is telling me. I don't need Hashem. The nachash tells me I don't need Hashem. But the fire is when I see the fire, it gives me the fear. I fear the fire. It reminds me to fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that fixes me from the zoom of the nachash. And therefore we want to break the bread at the place where the fire made the bread a little more well done, where it's a little bit more well done. Oh, the fire grabbed this part of the bread first. Now he's explained to you how the baking process works. And listen to this. You put the bread in the oven. So the fire grabs this part of the bread first. And then it starts baking the rest of it. But this part gets darker because the fire grabbed that part first. So it had the most, the most interaction with the fire. So therefore, that's what makes it get more well done. You see that? He's telling you how baking process works. Isn't that amazing? Did you ever think of that? Why is one part of the bread darker than the other part of the bread? Because that's where the fire started to grab it. The fire grabbed it in that part, and it kept going with it. And yes, it baked the rest of the bread, but it grabbed that part. And we said, why was that from the Arizal? Because that's where the nefesh of the bread is, in that part. So the fire grabs that part specifically. So that was therefore when you make the betzia, you make the tikkun for the lechem. Okay, Kisham hiskil haberer batikin v'alkein sham tzrikin lefsaya levarech hamaitzi, and therefore that's the part where you make the bracha hamaitzi, and you eat that part first. You want to specifically eat that part first. Through that, meshabrim kinei ches v'oisin hay. That's how you break the ches and turn it into a hay. Take your bread, it's bread, chametz. Break the bread, and from that place where the fire initially grabbed the dough to make the tikkun, from making it from dough into bread, and you break it from that part, and that's how you break the ches, and you turn the ches into the hay. You take it from ches mem tzadik to mem tzadik hay. Okay?
Why does it mean when it says eating comes from judgments?
Huh?
What does it mean? It says eating comes from judgments.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. The first eating that was done was the Eitz Hadas Tevera.
Okay.
Right? That was a bad judgment call. Right? Can you say that? That was a bad judgment call?
I didn't say so.
Right? Bad judgment call. All eating comes from judge. You have to judge when I'm eating. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to make the blessing right? That's judging, right?
I'm not getting it completely, but I...
Okay, again, when you have your bread and you figure out, you're sitting there, you're trying to figure out where is the darkest part. Where am I going to make the bracha? So that's making a judgment. I'm figuring it out. Eating comes from judgment.
When I hear the word judgment, it sounds like I'm being judged.
Okay, but it's different. There's different context. There's different context of the word.
Okay.
The beginnes hey da maitzi vazai maitzi and halechem mechametz matzah meches lehei sheze ikka habeira. That is the main That is the main beira. That is the main way we can make the rectification for our food, and that's a fascinating lesson. Well, it is to me anyway. I just love that idea. This whole idea of understanding when I'm eating, right? I understand this idea that I'm eating. I can make such great rectifications, and I can take my regular food and turn it back into matzah, which is man, which has again, which connects me back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if I choose to do it.
Right.
But this is our mission. If you choose to accept it,
You make a judgment.
right? You have the mission. Do
Value
you choose to accept the mission that you have? This is our mission. Do you want to do this or not? You're eating the bread anyway. You can eat your bread anyway. You can eat your sandwich, whatever you can do. So here we're learning, when I'm eating my bread, look at the beautiful things I can accomplish while I'm eating.
And it fixes our heart, and
It can fix
our blood,
everything. It makes our
everything.
daven better. It makes us feel better.
Our
It's
blood.
just an amazing thing. It's just wonderful. So tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to continue this, and we're going to learn about the Maras HaMachpelah that Avraham Avinu brought from the Bnei Ches. Ches. Yes, okay, we're going to see it's wonderful. Our Nassim does that, okay? Let's learn one halacha in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Today I think we're up to letter Gimel. We did Beis yesterday, right? Okay. Okay, so now here, Beis. Okay, we're in the. Well, sorry, 1 second. We're in Chav Vav. We're in Sif Chav Vav. Dine Kaddish Yasam. Okay, and today we're up to Gimel. Isn't that nice? We did Gimel today too over there. Okay, now Im Yesh beBeis HaKnesses Gam Yartzeit. Now, what happens in the Beis HaKnesses? You have the guys. Different things are going on, right? You have different people, right? Again, we're trying to figure out who gets to say the Kaddish, right? Who gets to say? That's what we're trying to figure out here now, right? So you have different things. You have different people. You have a guy in the Shloishim. You have a guy this. You have a guy in Shit. You have different things. Gam kein Yartzeit. Azayim ben Shiva hu katan shahoylech kol yemei Shiva lebeis HaKnesses. What happens now if you have a katan, a little boy, that they don't have a minion in his house, and he goes to the shul every day. The little boy goes to the shul every day. He's sitting Shiva, right? The little boy's sitting Shiva, Hashem Yirachim, right? What? And he goes to shul every day. Yesh la'yotzei kaddish echad. So again, we said that the person that when the kaddish yasam was instituted originally for the katan, for the yasam that's a katan, Hashem Yishmerenu mamash. But that's when it was instituted, because again, the katan can't lead the community. He doesn't have the ability. He's a katan. He can't lead the community. So they instituted the kaddish in order for him to be able to do something, in order to show publicly his mourning for a parent. You understand? So okay, so this little boy, he says all the kaddishim except for one. We'll reserve one for the guy with the yard side. Okay? Got it? What happens if you have 3 guys there, 4 guys there with a yard side on the same day? Right. Okay, so then they divide up all the kaddishim. Hopefully there's not too many guys with a yard side. Okay, right? So then, right, they'll divide up the little boy gets most of them, but they'll give one to each guy that has a yard side. He gets his individual kaddish. They could, say some Tehillim or something.
Say the Shishal Yom.
Yeah.
And then we say that afterwards, Baruch Hashem, so they make Kaddish after the Shishal Yom, Kaddish after
You
that.
can do, okay.
Yisrael, Kaddish after that.
Okay, vafilu im katan shehu ben shiva yitcha legamrei. If he's a katan shehu ben shiva, right? Vafilu im katan shehu ben shiva yitcha legamrei. Im yesh what?
So in the week of the Shiva.
Yes, and he gets pushed off altogether.
If there's too many yard sites, he gets pushed off.
He gets pushed off.
Who gets pushed?
The child.
The child?
If there's too many yard sites in the shul, I don't think that ever happened. That there'd be so many yard sites for all the kadeshim. You never know. V'im yesh ben shloishim. What happens if you have a guy that's in the shloishim, right? Yesh loy gam kein kaddish echad. The guy in the shloishim also gets one kaddish. Aval im yesh harbe ben b'nei shloishim. What happens if you have a lot of guys in the shul that are in their shloishim? Well, I mean, if you think about it, you can have a family, right?
6 brothers.
You have 6 brothers or 7 brothers all together, and they're all saying they're all in their shloshim, right? Ein hakotan ben shiva nidcha machmasan legamri. So the ben katan doesn't completely push them off, right? He doesn't completely. V'im hu gadol she'einay hoylech kol shiva lebeis hakneses. What happens if he's a gadol and he's not going to the shul? So if he's not going to shul, what's the question? V'im hu gadol she'einay hoylech lekol shiva lebeis hakneses. Afal pi she'espalu lebeis b'minyan. So he's not in the shul. So why is that a question? If he's a gadol and he doesn't go to the shul the whole 7 days of his shiva, now we're going to see on Shabbos he comes to the Beis HaKnesses, he gets to say all the kadeshim. Even though Shabbos is no morning, but he's still within his shiva. He's still within his shiva, and they don't make a minyan of the shiva in the house on Shai. He comes to the shul, so he gets the right to say all the kadeshim, all the kadeshes of that tefillah. V'im yesham yard site. What happens on Shabbos if there's a yard site? Oimegam kain kol hakadeshim. He still says all the kadeshim. There's a chiddush. So the guy that's sitting shiva at his house, and he has a minyan every day, and he's saying all the kadeshim. Everything's going on. There's great in his house. Right? He comes to Shul Shabbos, he gets to say all the Kadeshim, even the yard site gets pushed off. Interesting, right? Milvad Kadesh Echad Sheyatilu Olav Goyro, except for one that they make a Goyro on. They make a lottery.
There's more than one yard site.
Yeah? So then they make a Goyro. Va'ach and Isbatal Mimenu Hashiva Ayadei Regel. Right? And we said the other thing yesterday. So what happens if the yard site, if the shiva got pushed off because of the holiday or something else happened because of the holiday? Azay yeshlei din katan. Azay yeshlei din katan kivan sheyachal leilech lebeis hakneses b'chol yom. So then he has the din, even though he's a gadol, he says the din of the katan because he can now go to the shul every day. Why? Because it's a holiday. But even though the shiva was pushed off, he still gets the thing because he's still, even though he's not sitting shiva, but it's still the days of the shiva. So again, he'll get the advantage of being able to say the kaddish. Again, Baruch Hashem, today we don't have to worry about these things. It's so beautiful that we worked it out, that everyone says kaddish together in unison, so we don't have all of these problems. Could you imagine, really, all the time with these things? It's unbelievable.
Every day.
A lot of places where they don't say it in unison, it's terrible.
Oh, you mean one says it in one corner and the other corner? What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm saying, and especially you have some people, Ashkenaz, some Sfarad, some they don't do Mizrach, and they don't listen to who's saying, and they just.
Well, that's not good at all. No, because you have to have 10 people at least answering the Kaddish. You have to have people answering the Kaddish, so that's a problem that they're saying the Kaddish like that. But that's why we're going to really with the way it's supposed to be, it was organized when this was, everyone's supposed to go to the Bima. You see that in a lot of shuls. Mm-hmm. Everyone goes to the guys that are saying the Kaddish, they go to the Bima, and they're all listening to each other, and they're all saying it together, and everyone answers nicely to all the Kaddeshim the way it's supposed to be. But like you're saying, Shal, right, if the guy's in one corner in the shul, and he's mumbling his Kaddish, and no one else can hear him.
So now I know why.
But then again, even if he is mumbling his Kaddish, but he's saying it together with the other ones, it'll still work.
Yeah.
The question is here. So if say that the Kaddish was originally for the Ketani, right? So now
Kaddish Yosef. Right.
Kaddish, but now we're already talking to a place where everybody's saying Kaddish. Doesn't make it that it's your Katan or a Gadol.
Right.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but originally, we established that. Originally, the whole point was the Kaddish Yosem was set up so that way the young boy, he can still say something. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to say anything publicly. So they gave him the special dispensation that there's a Kaddish Yosem and he's allowed to say that. Okay.
So this would also avoid, there was a guy in Shul that he would go over to the other person who's saying Kaddish, so they could say it together.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
So now, like, there's sometimes I go to a minyan, and one guy's going like 20 miles an hour, and I'm going 3. If I went over to him, then we would be able to be more in sync, because he realized that I'm saying Kaddish too.
That's right. Get together. Okay. Everyone should have a wonderful day, and we should all hear Besorah Tovot.